patience, kindness, thoughtfulness. Yeah, I'd say those three things.
I would say patience too. An open room for understanding. Willingness to learn and to grow. And I just feel like, yeah, like we're in this together.
Like teamwork.
Yeah. Then there is the mushy part of it, but I feel like that doesn't, at the end of the day, the longest lasting love relationships do not last because of the mushiness of love. You understand? It lasts because you understand your partner, or you're willing to keep understanding your partner, because we're constantly changing, and that willingness to always evolve together. You know, even though you are on different shapes, like, all right, we're heading in the same direction, or you might be like, okay, I'm going east, all right, I'm going to go west, then we meet north. You know, that is the type of relationship, that's the type of love I think that's what I see.
His generosity of time, like his generosity of his giving his time, and his being in service, always being there to help people. Like, he'll go out of his way to help people, oftentimes to detriment, but he considers people a lot, and yeah, I'd say that. Yeah.
I don't know if there is a particular one. I would not say there is a particular one. It depends. I think it's very much attached to the season we find ourselves. But and one of the ones that's always present is that she is thoughtful. So she's, even though she doesn't present herself as a critical person, she's very critical about how she navigates space. You know, so it means she's very accommodating to others and attracts. Because of that, people are drawn to her just because of that nature. So because I myself, I do suffer sometimes as someone, even though I'm accommodating and everything, my presence sometimes I have to work to manage my presence. My presence sometimes can feel overwhelming for people, but she has found a way to just make it easy for people to navigate around that easily. So that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think it's made me more open-minded. Yeah, I think it's helped me grow as an individual to better understanding of the world, and how to try to maybe move with an alignment of myself in the world, in whatever space I might find myself. So try to be a bit more aligned. Yeah, I think that's one thing I can say.
I am very okay now with taking every risk. I'm a risk taker, but before I met Billie, I would think a lot. Even though I've been like a loner and I still consider myself a loner, I would always consider people. So when I take risks, I might stop at 50%. But because of my relationship with Billie, And I would not just say my love for her, but because of our type of relationship and the way she willingly and lets me know that I am here for you, go back to one of the answers I gave already. I know that she understands the risk I'm taking. I don't need to explain myself, so I'm just going, you know, in my light, in my fullness. I don't need to hide any, because I feel like most people don't get that, and it's not even something to be proud about. I feel like the biggest gift you can get, one of it, is for your partner to see you in your full light. And a lot of people are even afraid to see themselves in their full light. So to be able to show myself, whatever, good, bad, ugly, nice, whatever it is, to be able to show that to my partner gives me that to just go and jump and take the risk I need to take and just live life to the fullest. I always say this because it's very indicative to our relationship. I still do not believe that people should just get married. I still do not believe that people should just go into blind relationships, because I do not believe that the way relationships are designed popularly, I don't believe in that, right? So growing up, I never saw myself settling down with one person. All of that changed the first day I saw Billie, because I see things like the projects I work, any project that I present to anybody today, I've envisioned it like 5 or so years ago. So I always see things like that. It's a gift. When I saw Billie, this is the first time I was able to just see a future instantly with somebody, you understand? And I liked what I saw, you know. And funny thing is, I didn't know her, so but I trust my spirit. So I was able to just see everything that I'm living now and more, and I was just like, right, this is the person. If I was ever going to do this thing I do not truly believe in, but do it my way, this is the person. And I think it has been like that. It was clear from the moment I saw Billie.
On my part, I mean, similarly, maybe not to the same extent, but similarly, I felt an instant connection. There was an instant connection, and it just very drawn. I can't remember being so drawn to someone before, like at all. Of course, you see people, you fancy them, you like them, you maybe want to get closer to them and everything. But being like almost magnetically drawn to someone, I can't think of any other experience that I've had like that. So that was, I don't know if that's my first impression of him, or my first, I don't know if I can call it an impression, or my first feeling around him. That was my first immediate feeling. Yeah. In terms of him as a person, my first impression of him, he was, we're both opinionated, so I guess we both have a lot to say about things. I don't want to use the word opinionated in a negative way, because we both have opinions on things. So I felt like he was someone that was quite sure of himself. Sure of himself. I don't know. Yeah, just self-assured. Let me use that word. Trying to self-assured.
So okay, apart from my feeling, my opinion, because now this is why my impression, I didn't answer that. My impression was that, oh yes, someone who can stand their ground, like speak for herself, doesn't feel belittled by my presence or my voice or anything, because the first day we met, we spoke for hours, you know, and we were just going back and forth, jumping subject. I was just like, I'm attracted to the brain, you know, so I was just like, yeah, it's not just a feeling, like this feeling makes sense, because this is the type of person I want to be 60 with, you know, or just whatever age we find ourselves in the future, like, and it's a testament, that first day is a testament to where our relationship is now, because that's what we do for each other. We've done that in our personal lives, in our careers. we push each other every day. If you stay around us, you just realize that we actually talk about everything. Some things are not important. Like it's the same. We look at things like we respect each other as individuals. You know, we don't cloud our relationship with our relationship. You know, we are two people who have decided to do something together. You know, and that is relationship, that is family, that is business, that is travel, that is food, that is conversation. It's a partnership in everything. So there are things we decide not to partner in. You know, that sometimes she has to go travel for a long time. That's a thing. That sometimes I have to go travel for a long time. That's my thing. You know, there's some project that she might just be on the sideline and just give me moral support, and I'll do the same for her, you know. But in all, like, we respect each other as people, you know. Yeah.
For showing an alternative way of doing love. To show an alternative way of doing love and marriage, even maybe more specifically, because we are married, and I like to think that we don't have the average kind of marriage, at least from our communities, and I don't know from what we know in our communities. So yeah, presenting the possibility of something different for people. Yeah.
One thing that I know is that the relationship I have now has always been the relationship I wanted to have, and I never grew up seeing that relationship. I still do not see anybody within my immediate circle practicing the type of relationship that I practice. There's this couple, they're late now, that Billie introduced me to. I keep forgetting their name, in France. What's her name? Yeah, and when I heard their story and just the way they practice love and relationship and partnership, and they were married, right? They weren't married, so they weren't married.
They weren't married and they didn't live together.
But they were life partners, and I feel like it just shows that traditional is not bad. I'm not against traditional, but people need to take their time to design what they want. You know, when two people say, hey, let's do this together, they have to take their time. Even if you have to take pen and paper, you know, to keep writing over time and years, like, oh, I want this, I don't want this. Yeah, when I'm 60, I want to look back and be like, if we have 80, I want to look back and be like, if we have kids, siblings, cousins, friends, family, and outside of that circle, I want to be able to show the alternative, you know, to two people in a relationship. You know, we don't practice the traditional relationship. We won't go into what we practice now, but we don't. And that could mean gender roles. You know, we don't practice gender roles in our relationship. It's so fluid. Nothing. We don't. You can wake up in the morning and decide to wash your plate. You can wake up in the morning and decide to sweep. You can wake up in the morning and decide to cook. Anybody can do anything, and that's how we practice. And one day we can wake up and we both feel like we don't want to do anything, and that's it. Nobody's responsible solely for anything. Yeah. Right? Yes, I just align it to what you're saying.
Thank you, guys.